The original Ghost in the Shell has always been something of an enigma to me. I remember watching Standalone Complex when I was much younger, looking at Makoto's little thigh gap like, that's gonna be something I like later on in life. Not really knowing what was going on, I just wrote it off as something I would do later, not even knowing about the movie that it came from. Much later, I started watching anime more heavily, developed this online persona, and then people started talking about this film in little video essays, and that's when I realized one day I'd probably have to make a confession to you all. I'm a fake anime fan. I have never seen the original Ghost in the Shell. Take my Weeb license, take my Firstborn, my Crunchyroll subscription, and Nya bookmark. I don't belong in this space anymore. Unless I actually watch it, I guess. I'm bored on a Saturday morning and I need to do something. Hey, I know this singing. I've heard this somewhere before. Is that Kenji fucking Kawaii? Okay, you know what? This looks really good. I think I'm just going to shut up for a few minutes and actually absorb this. So, contrary to what I usually do, I'm going to try to shake things up during this video. I'm going to give you my verdict right off the bat. This is a masterpiece. Ghost in the Shell is a masterpiece of a film for the reasons that most people already know, but I'm going to tell you why I think it's a masterpiece. A lot of credit needs to be given to Mamoru Oshii, because most of this film makes you go, oh shit. Mainly, I want to talk about some of the things that he does in this film that almost feel like you're being programmed to understand the theming of it without noticing that it's happening. The first theme is hollowness. One of the first shots you see after Makoto's construction is Makoto in her bedroom being illuminated only by the light coming in through one window next to her bed. The use of negative space in this shot is so artistically poignant. Not only does it hammer in the hollow theming that I'm talking about, it also just looks really, really good. The invisibility technology also lends to this effect as well, and that is, you know, the thing that a lot of people know is the invisible naked woman in the river because she's naked. I think there's a vast majority of people that like to look at naked people. I'm one of them. I also found this theming in the ghost-hacked humans having no actual memories other than what they were programmed with. It is an absolutely fucked situation that they had with these Simex-hacked humans who, like, that guy. The idea of a Simex-hacked human that has a wife and daughter that he remembers vividly and is being told that they never existed. This is probably one of the first pieces of media that actually used that trope, and wow, doesn't make it any less fucked up. Later on in the film, there is a sequence of Makoto diving into the ocean and then a subsequent conversation that kinda sorta circles around being a Ship of Theseus argument before the exposition kicks back in and then the movie happens again. There's also another long shot focusing on armless mannequins that I found very symbolic, and along with the nature of the villain of this movie, it sort of hammers home the idea of us being basically just memories in flesh shells walking around on this godforsaken earth. It is really, really bleak and disturbing. The second theme I want to talk about is simplicity versus complexity. One of the things you notice very, very heavily, especially in the construction sequence and other sequences in the film, a lot of this technology is needlessly complex. There's a wonderful conversation that happens earlier in the movie with Makoto and one of her coworkers who's a more old school guy involving his revolver that pays off later on in the movie. That is a great example of how it drives that point forward. There is loads and loads of technology in this place that, as you find out through other major plot points, like an old virus being completely overpowering to this new technology. The environment also tells this story well. There will be these long expository conversations between different characters about incredible techno babble that sort of makes sense when you think about it in the long run, and then all of a sudden it stops. We hear the simplicity of the soundtrack backed over long frame shots of different parts of the environment, these flooded areas that I was talking about that hold for just a little too long and remind us of the simplicity of the normal life in this space, or what can be defined as normal in a society that is so advanced beyond what it needs to be. There's also a case to be made for the cohesiveness of the technology in the environment versus later on in the film, the tank fight that happens towards the end of the film, where it's one piece of incredibly advanced technology versus another, and they're fighting in an old building that seems vastly unconnected to the rest of this city. There are several incredible sequences in this film that I love as well. First and foremost, the construction scene at the beginning. We love it. It's great. Naked lady. Again, there you go. Secondly, the aforementioned shots I was just talking about. The long shots in this film are just beautiful. One of my personal favorite sequences in this film is the revolver guy actually going out to his car and using his own intuition and the technology he has available, using them in a perfect marriage of intellect and technology to figure out that something is very, very wrong in that moment. It is a beautiful sequence, and it makes so much sense after the initial info dump of stuff that you get from the beginning of the movie. And weirdly, at the very end of this movie, I love the final conflict that you see at the end of this film. And like I said before, it is an interesting juxtaposition of two just titans in their own way of technology fighting each other in a just empty building that seems so unconnected to everything else in this society and in this city. There's a shot in this fight that basically says that point out loud, where the tank draws fire to Makoto and just runs it through a piece of art on the wall or an actual fossil. It's such a brilliant little bit of environmental storytelling that I just could not bring that up. And finally, the ending. The ending merges both of these themes very, very well, being both a simple outcome that is incredibly complex in bureaucracy and red tape, and leaves the viewer thinking, wow, all of that complicated bullshit just for this. It's brilliantly executed. Ghost in the Shell is truly a masterpiece, like they say. Thanks for watching, everybody. This video is sponsored by Audible. If you like the sound of my voice, I have an audiobook on Audible. You can download it and another book by visiting the link below in my description. Thank y'all so much for watching. Bye-bye.